What's up, guys and gals? It is your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest episode 9 review for Bleach. That was in your Blood War arc. This is going to start one of the fights that people were hoping is going to be extended, and I really do still think it will be. They might not get into the exact details in episode 10, but we'll talk about that in a minute. This episode basically showcases only about 3 different sections. We go through the Soul King's Palace with Ichigo and Renji, and they're going through like Hikafune's making all that food, and it's Shokugeki no Bleach for a moment, you know, as they cook and do some food wars and that kind of idea. And that's a lot of fun. That's fine. And Renji and Ichigo have a serious talk because they've left the bath now and stuff like that, right? And then we also get into a little bit of what was missing, a scene that was sort of moved into this episode, which sort of makes sense because we focus, as I said, on 3 parts. We do some Soul King Palace stuff, and they're about to go and head to Osetu. I always, it depends on how you say his name or whatever, but the creator of the Zanpakuto is where they're going next. I probably butchered his name there. And that's where they're going. So that journey is probably going to continue in the next episode. And then the other 2 parts is, of course, KENPACHI Zaraki versus Captain Retsu Unohana? No. It is Yachiru Unohana, the first KENPACHI. Let's go. So all these posers were just posers because there always must be there can't be more than one KENPACHI. So she basically retired her title, but technically she was still alive, so I don't know how that works. Technically, everyone leading up to even Zaraki are all posers because there can't be more than one KENPACHI. So very interesting there. I mean, once again, you could just make the argument she retired the title, passed it on, and stopped being KENPACHI, but now she's the KENPACHI again for this fight. They're fighting in Muken so that they can go to their heart's desire, but before we get into that, because that's like the main chunk of the episode, and some people were worried that all the budget was being used up in the first few episodes of the anime, and so we'll talk about that. The other part is following, of course, Kyoraku. It's following Captain Shunsui himself. He's become the head commander since Yamamoto is dead. He's also, there's this moment where it's like, oh, him and Nanao are now going to be separated because she's like for Squad 8, not Squad 1, and blah, blah, blah. And he just goes up to Central 46 and goes, well, my first order of business is I'm having 2 lieutenants. Deal with it. And now, moving on to number 2, I'm going to teach KENPACHI Zaraki some Zenjutsu, or whatever it's called there. So he's going to teach him the way of the sword, so to speak, which Yamamoto, of course, gave up after 1 day. But his method is a little more, and we jump back and forth with him. His method is more, no, he's got to battle his ultimate rival. He's got to battle the first KENPACHI, Captain Unohana. We see the reactions of both Yachiru and Isane as this is going down. And I got to say, the fight so far has been quite well animated. I'm not disappointed, though I'm hoping for an extension of the fight. I hope we get to see a little bit more, because what's going to happen next episode is, if you're not caught up, if you're anime only, I'm going to spoil it. 3, 2, 1. She's going to go Bankai. You got to go Bankai. So she's going to go Bankai, and we don't fully understand. It was never really stated or showcased how her Bankai works. This was a serious problem with 1000 Year Blood War arc. We are going to get more Bankais, but a couple of them, more than a couple of them actually, never get full explanations because it's sort of quick. It's shown that they're in Bankai. We sort of see it doing something, but we don't actually know what it does. So I'm hoping for an extension of the KENPACHI Zaraki versus Unohana fight, which, once again, so far, quite well animated. I love the zoom in, the zoom shots, her jumping off the pillar and boom, coming back at him and stuff. And all the scenes have basically been pretty much shot for shot in the manga, but as I said, I'd like to see this fight extended, especially at this quality. It does look pretty good, and I didn't expect them to go crazy like with the auras or anything like that, but I'm curious as to how they're going to color and showcase Unohana's Bankai. That's what I'm curious to see. Is that going to sort of light up this very dark, and it's all grayscale, it's all like nighttime, it's all black and Muken, of course. So I am quite interested to see how they're going to go about doing that part in the following episode. So Yeah, but for this one, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought the animation was fine. I was hoping they might extend, as I said, I was hoping they'd extend more so the beginning of the fight. But if they extend the middle part after she uses her Bankai so we can sort of see more of what it's doing, because it was kind of, people have interpreted it, and there's some really popular theories on exactly what it does. But we're not exactly 100% because remember, a Shikai and a Bankai have to be correlated in some way, as Yuha Bak stated when he was fighting Yamamoto. The Ryujin Jaka is flames. The Shikai is fire. So the Bankai has to be fire related in some way. That's just the way it works. There's no such two different. They can't go like that. So in that regard, we know that Minazuchi, I always forget the name of her sword exactly or how it's pronounced, but we know it turns into a healing flying manta ray thing. Her Bankai, but it heals people. So her Bankai must be related to healing, a Kido-based sword and Bankai in some way. Ironic, because once again, she was the healer at first, it made sense, but she was originally the first Kenpachi and slaughtering and all that stuff, right? So I am curious to know exactly, is her Bankai what's constantly, like, people assume that she was using Kido when she confirmed that, but is her Bankai actually just making it so that, like, is she constantly healing Kenpachi? Like, is that the deal? So I'm hoping that the Thousand Year Blood War arc anime is going to clean up these are some of the questions that we had in the manga when the manga was, at this point it wasn't getting rushed, of course, I'm not going to say that, but there were things that might have been addressed later or might have been showcased better or something, or if Kubo had an opportunity to go back, he would do it again. So that's why in the Thousand Year Blood War arc here in the anime, and sometimes anime makes it more, that's exactly what it's doing, or no, this is what it's doing, and it's much more clear in an anime form rather than manga panels and stills. So I'll be very curious to see exactly what it does. A lot of people at first assumed that she was using Kido to keep healing Kenpachi while she fought him with the sword, and the Bankai was doing something different. Now, realistically, there's the popular theory that what it's doing is it's basically giving 110%. It's going beyond. Like, it's giving Kenpachi maximum healing, so she just keeps killing him and bringing them basically back from the dead constantly. And she states that in this episode, that she's bringing Kenpachi on the verge of death as many times as need be and constantly heals him. So is that what her Bankai is actually doing? Because she claimed that she learned Kido healing spells from the master from the Royal Guard. She claimed that she learned healing Kido so that she could enjoy and fight in battles longer and do what she's doing, like healing stuff. So, but if her Shikai and her Bankai were healing in nature, if her Bankai creates a sphere of healing, why would she need to learn the healing Kido? Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm not 100% behind the theory that the Bankai is simply healing Kenpachi. I think it's doing another function, because she claimed that she learned Kido for this very reason. So she could fight for longer, so she could enjoy more fights. She learned healing Kido. Well, if her sword already did it, she would have no use for healing Kido in the first place, really, right? And that was, once again, that was Unohana's reasoning as to why she learned it in the first place. So I'm curious, unless that was sort of something that Kubo sort of screwed up when he wrote it. It won't make a lot of sense, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see exactly how they're going to explain the Bankai. And as I said, I want this fight to be a little bit extended. So far, it's well animated, and I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoyed this episode. I thought it was pretty good, and I like the pacing. The pacing seemed to be quite quick. We're going through the, not to a fast degree, but just to a proper degree. It's like, okay, let's go through the training at the Royal Palace. Some of it's cool, but some of it, like, let's just get through that. We want to get to the next part, right? So we don't want to waste too much time on the gags and all this stuff if we don't have to, right? Like, let's get to what fans have been hoping for and have more time to spend more time, I should say, on things that to us matter, like Kenpachi versus Unohana. So that's my review, guys. I know it's a little bit of a short one, but that's really all I have to say. It was quite a simple episode. 3 parts. Ichigo and Renji are continuing their training at the Royal Palace. They're going to go meet the Zanpakuto Togai. Shunsui basically became the head captain and said, Unohana, you got to fight Kenpachi. And then it was Unohana fighting Kenpachi. that's basically what happened in the episode as a summary. So that being said, though, I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always, and we will see you beautiful people back here next time for the next episode of 1,000-Year Blood War arc of Bleach. And yeah, have a good one. 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Let's go. All right, see you later.